Hi, and welcome to our experience of the Aachen Christmas markets in Germany. I hope you like what we put together. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of our future travels. We'll take you through the markets as well as explain the 2G regulations required during the COVID-19 pandemic, as well as letting you see what you can eat, drink, the streets, the architecture, as well as visiting the markets both day and after dark. Aachen is on the far west of Germany, close to the Dutch and Belgian borders. It's around about 3.5 to 4 hours from Calais by car, and it's around about 215 miles or so. It's also about 3.5 hours from London on the Eurostar to Brussels, changing to get a high-speed train straight into Aachen. Now let's start in Münsterplatz, on the southern edge of Aachen's magnificent cathedral. And now a word about that 2G rule. 2G means geimpft and genesen, which translates to vaccinated or recovered. So for us tourists, that means we need to provide our NHS passport with its QR code and another form of photo ID, so your actual passport. And you must wear a mask unless you're eating or drinking. So now let's take a quick peek around the drinks hut. Oh, and I need to mention, at these drink stations they issue with a wristband, so you only need to be validated once a day in the Christmas markets. And now strolling around the cathedral, we head into Katschhof, the square that sits between the cathedral and the Rathaus. And for reference, this was filmed around about 2:33 o'clock on a Wednesday. And this is a great time to do your shopping, as it's generally a little quieter and you get a good chance to look around. And back to those 2G rules, you will find that there are police and COVID security checking as you walk around the market. And if you didn't know, Aachen is home to a particular type of gingerbread, Printemps. And we've been loving it since 2006 in our first visit to Cologne. And if you like gingerbread, then it's a must try and a must buy really. And talking of food on the markets, there's plenty to eat while you're here, or try one of the local restaurants. Once again, you'll need your COVID passport. And I do need to mention we were guests of Aachen Tourism for this visit to the markets at Christmas. But we really love Germany's Christmas markets, and this has been our 12th year in the country. And now back to that gingerbread. Warning, Klein stall on the right hand side. And yes, that's where we got this year's fix. And now we head around the Rathaus to Marktplatz and Rathaus, where the festivities continue. And the thing we found in travelling through the markets is you'll always find something unique, whether it be a drink or a gift, either for yourself or for someone special. And now we head to the drinks area on this market, and this is where your COVID passport will be checked. And then once that's done, Glühwein. Are you a fan? We'd love to know, leave us a comment. But don't worry if you're not, there's plenty of other options on the market. And talking of options, it's around about €4 for a 200ml mug of Glühwein. You can add additional spirits, but there's a cost there, and there's also a €3 deposit for the mugs. And if you want to keep the mug, just take it back and ask for a clean one. It's not a problem. And we have a collection from our travels, and guess what? We've got a new edition. And this Glühwein was enjoyed within the shadow of Charlemagne and that beautiful medieval Rathaus. And now time to stroll the markets again. And it's at this point you can find the visitor information up there on the right for this Christmas market. Now I normally warn families with young children to perhaps avoid the markets at their busiest times, but I think Aachen may be the exception to the rule, as this seems a very family friendly Christmas market, and I think it makes the perfect introduction to your first German Christmas market. And the reason for that, there's so much more to see around the city than just the Christmas markets. There's the beautiful Dom. It's also possible to take a tour of the Rat House, and I'll be producing another video in the new year giving you an overview of that. It's also possible to book a tour of the Christmas markets themselves, and I'll drop a link in the description for that. But outside of the Christmas markets, there's also a beautiful city to be discovered. And if you want to know more about that, then I'll pop up a link to our earlier video at the end of this. And it's also while strolling the streets, you might find another additional gift that you won't find on a local high street. And if you're worried about the language barrier, well, the good news is we're fortunate that a lot of Germans speak very good English, but that doesn't mean we should forget our bitters and dankeschöns. And that Google Translate app always comes in helpful too. And we really enjoy our time in Aachen. It's a wonderful city, quite sophisticated, but it's not too pretentious, and we find the people are really quite friendly. And talking of stylish sophisticated, I've got to mention Hut 16 next to the Circle of Money fountain, run by local butcher Rolf's Gerards, and the food here is stunning. And as Rolf says, it's probably got the best Glühwein in Aachen, and I think we probably agree with him. We always say that the German Christmas markets come to life after the sun goes down. The whole place just sparkles, and Aachen is no exception. The beautiful streets of the old town are just wonderful to wander through. Aachen is also a city of fountains. This one, the Puppet Fountain, has movable joints, just like real puppets. So back to the markets at our favourite time, after the sun has gone down. And one of the things you'll notice about all German Christmas markets is that it's a spread of different age groups that visit, and it's quite often family groups or groups of friends, especially after work, so you'll notice it get busier just after about 5:30, and it'll make the ideal place for you and a couple of friends to jump in the car and head across. It's very easy, but make sure you pack for winter because it can get cold, and make sure they're comfy shoes. Look at those cobbles. And if you do need to take the weight off those feet, then why not jump into one of the many bars or restaurants that surround the markets. And a local speciality to look out for is roast beef with Printemps sauce. Yep, that's right, gingerbread sauce. And doesn't the Rat House look beautiful? Built on the 8th century ruins of the Palace of Aachen in the 14th century and restored after bomb damage during the Second World War. We'll take a stroll around the corner and revisit the market at Katschhof. What do you think? Looks better after sundown, doesn't it? I have to say this has to be one of the prettiest Christmas markets we visited. And don't forget to keep an eye out for those unique gifts. There's plenty of them. There's a local liqueur, there's an ironwork stall in the corner where we picked up a little Christmas ornament. We just couldn't help ourselves. What I've shown you is the main Christmas market in Aachen. There are a couple of other smaller markets dotted around town, and I'll pop a link in the description to the Aachen Christmas Market website. Now as we walk back through the Elisengarten towards the Elisenbrunnen, with the faint smell of sulphur from its hot springs, we'll take the opportunity to thank you for watching. If you've got any questions or comments, please leave them below. Thanks so much, take care, stay safe, Stay well.